Welcome to Scary Stories, where we bring you the most spine-chilling tales from around the world. In this episode, we bring you the story of Ayaki Ititze, a young scientist who never believed in the supernatural. But when she came face to face with a cursed cassette, she found out that the dangers of the supernatural were very real. After viewing the cursed tape, Ayaka had only 7 days to break the curse before her sister would meet a terrible fate. What happened next changed Ayaka's life forever, as she discovered that there was more to the world than what could be measured by science. Join us as we explore the terrifying world of curses and the supernatural, and hear from Ayaka herself as she shares her harrowing story. This is a tale that will make you question everything you thought you knew about the world and leave you wondering if there are things out there that science can never explain. As Ayaka pressed play on the cassette, the screen flickered to life and a chilling image appeared before her. It was a distorted figure with long, twisted limbs and a face twisted into a grotesque grin. The image stayed on the screen for only a few seconds before the screen went black. Ayaka brushed off the initial fear and assumed that the tape was just a cheap scare. But as the days passed, she began to experience strange occurrences. Every night, she would wake up to find the same figure from the tape standing at the foot of her bed, staring at her with cold, lifeless eyes. She tried to convince herself that it was just her imagination running wild, but the visions continued to haunt her. Ayaka soon realized that the curse was very real and that she had to find a way to break it before it was too late. Desperate for answers, she turned to an old legend about a powerful shaman who was said to be able to banish evil spirits. She set out on a dangerous journey to find the shaman and begged for his help. The shaman agreed to help her but warned her that the curse was too powerful and that breaking it would come at a great cost. Ayaka agreed to whatever was necessary to save her sister and herself. After a grueling ceremony, the shaman was able to break the curse, but not without consequences. Ayaka's hair turned completely white, and she was left with a permanent scar on her hand as a reminder of the price she paid to save her sister. From that day on, Ayaka never doubted the existence of the supernatural and the power of curses. She learned that even the most skeptical person could be proven wrong and that sometimes, it's better to believe in legends and superstitions than to ignore them. However, things didn't end there for Ayaka. Even after the curse was broken, she still couldn't shake off the feeling that something was following her. She felt as though she was being watched, even when she was alone. One day, while walking home from the university, Ayaka heard footsteps behind her. She turned around, but there was no one there. She shrugged it off and kept walking, but the footsteps persisted. When she turned around again, she saw the same figure from the cursed cassette standing just a few feet away from her. Ayaka froze in fear, unable to move or scream. The figure began to move closer and closer, its long limbs contorting in unnatural ways. Just when she thought it was about to grab her, the figure vanished into thin air. From that day on, Ayaka never spoke of what she saw to anyone. She knew that no one would believe her and that she would be branded as crazy or delusional. She lived with the knowledge that the supernatural was real and that it could strike at any moment. Years later, Ayaka became a renowned scientist, studying the paranormal and the unknown. She dedicated her life to finding scientific explanations for the unexplained, but deep down, she knew that some things could never be explained by science alone. She had experienced the terror of the supernatural firsthand, and it was something that would stay with her for the rest of her life. Despite her fear of the supernatural, Ayaka was fascinated by the stories of the unexplained. She wanted to share her experiences with others and help them understand that there was more to the world than what could be seen and measured. One day, Ayaka was approached by the creators of the YouTube channel Scary Stories. They had heard of her research and her experiences, and they wanted her to be a guest on their show. At first, Ayaka was hesitant. She wasn't sure if she was ready to share her story with the world. But then she remembered how alone she had felt when she was going through her ordeal, and how she wished that there had been someone to talk to who understood what she was going through. So she agreed to be a guest on the show. She told her story, and she was surprised to find that there were many people who had experienced similar things. They reached out to her, sharing their own stories and thanking her for being brave enough to speak out. After the show aired, Ayaka received countless messages from people who had been inspired by her story. Some were skeptics who had been forced to reconsider their beliefs, while others were believers who finally felt validated. Ayaka had found a new purpose in life. She continued her research, and she continued to share her experiences with others. She had found a community of people who understood her, and she knew that she was not alone. Joining Scary Stories was the best decision she ever made. It allowed her to connect with others, share her story, and help others who were going through similar experiences. She was no longer afraid of the unknown because she knew that there were others out there who were willing to face it with her.